Papa Pepper planting pawpaws.
Today I plant pawpaws. So when I'm working on planting different plants in my garden, there's two primarily that I use for a lot of the perennials. Now sometimes I will start from seed and get some seedlings, but I'm just going to deal with the propagated ones and some bare root ones. If I have bare root plants, which pretty much means you have a dormant plant and it's got roots at the bottom, what I like to do is I like to wake it up first in some water and give them a couple days just in a bucket of water. And what that makes sure is that the plant is really saturated with water as it begins to wake up, making sure it's not going to suffer from drying out or anything like that. And then you can see here, once they start to wake up, like this guy's got that little green part coming, then I know they're ready for the soil. So once I see that, that's what I use on my bare root ones. And then if I've got cuttings and something I'm propagating myself, I do like to start them just in a pot. Make sure that the cuttings get rooted first and that they're ready for the soil. This you can already see they're coming out the bottom. I propagated this one last year. It's a beast. I may, since there's 4 main stems coming out of here, I may be able to cut it into 4 different sections if they each got some roots, and then be able to use that too. So these are the pawpaws, this is American Beautyberry, and this is part of what I'm going to have going on in my next project. Alright guys, Papa Pepper here, working on another project of course, and it's food related. It's trying to get something set up that we're making the most use of our land. So behind me I've got a fence line running, which is where I keep things like our Jacob sheep or our goats. Eventually we'll be keeping our Dexter cow there too. And then on this side is actually what I call the drive-through. The house site and the mobile home are going to go down there. There's a nice drive through these woods up to the garden site, and it's a loop. So I call it a drive-through because you just pull through, and of course the drive-through is where you go to get food. This is my version of it, right? You drive to your garden, you pick some nice fresh stuff, you head back home, that's it. Also, if you want to save gas, you can just take a walk. Doesn't take that much effort, right? So there's going to be some orchard stuff going on here, some perennial gardening, some annual gardening, a lot of different stuff. But what I have is this place between here, heading back to that tree, and the fence line that's also not going to be driven on. So I've ran a row of rocks along here, and I like to run one at the bottom of my fence too to prevent things from digging under the fence. And this area I'm actually going to be filling with some pawpaws. I'm seeing if I can grab one with a little leaf on it. So these are just some bare root pawpaw seedlings that I got from the Georgia White Conservation Nursery. You can see this one's starting to wake up. They were just dormant seedlings, okay? A little bit of roots, a little bit of stem. You wake them up, they get some leaves on them. Now the pawpaw is a great natural, normal, wild tree in this area. I don't happen to have any on my property, but since it grows good here, since it's indigenous to the area, I thought, hey, this is a great way to grow it. It's actually the largest fruit tree, I think, in North America, at least in the United States. Makes a nice thing. They normally compare to a banana. They'll call it like a poor man's banana or Ozark banana as well. It's kind of a custardy type flavor. Within a few days of picking the ripe fruit, it actually ferments, so you're not going to see it at your grocery stores, although you may potentially find one at a farmer's market or something like that, or perhaps if you're in some sort of CSA. They've got a nice big black seed in them, and they like to grow as an understory plant for the first like 3 or 4 years. I'm planting them here right now, and then eventually we're going to have more sunlight in this area, and we'll allow these guys to kind of be the canopy in this area. So it's a good way for me to do something now on my land that's going to potentially reap a harvest for years and years to come. So the quicker I get these in, the better for me. You know, this isn't going to bear a giant fruit right away. It's got a ways to go. So I've got a bucket of those, and I've got some spaced out far enough away that the goats or Jacob sheep or things won't be able to reach them through the cattle panel, but then also where I'm not going to be driving on them. And then next to that, I'm going to run a number of things. One of them is going to be just the natural American gooseberry. That's what this guy is here. This is actually propagated from the woods right here. A member of the ribes family, like the like currants, black currants, white currants, red currants. The jostaberry was made from crossing this with a currant, and they made the jostaberry. Got a couple of those growing in the garden. But a lot of times you'll find these on the forest floor here anyway. So I'm just going to grow some right along here as a nice little row. And then you'll have the rocks where you drive through. Then you'll have the currants, the gooseberries, and then you'll have your upper story with the pawpaws. So even here is just a pile of small cuttings I made. These are all just individual plants. Cut, 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 cut. So I can run them down in this row, and they'll just kind of spread out and fill in. And then it'll be real easy for us to walk up and pick these. And same thing with the pawpaws when they come in. These will come in a lot quicker than that. But again, just free, normal, natural, wild plants produce a good, healthy, tasty berry. Something we can definitely use here. Something that's natural to this area is going to look great, and something that I can kind of sculpt and craft my land with to get the most bang for my buck. I mean, we're really dealing with a 10-foot wide section here that just happens to be between where I happen to be driving and where I have my animals fenced in. If I can turn that all into edible landscaping, a type of kind of natural food foresty garden, there's no reason not to, especially from my point of view. Then one other thing I'm going to be doing, which these guys died back pretty well last year. Even the ones that were in the ground died back pretty well. But if you look down in that bucket, there's a couple of little green guys in there. This is the American Beautyberry. I have found them growing wild in one location next to Bull Shoals Lake. These I happened to buy as well from the George O. White Conservation Nursery in Licking, Missouri. If you buy in bulk, being 100 plants, you pay 32 cents each, so $32 for 100 of these. That's great. So I think this is a Calicarpa americana, the American Beautyberry. Just a beautiful ornamental in a lot of cases, but also on the sticks, on the stems, it'll get clusters of small purple fruit. Birds love it, other things love it. You can also eat it yourself. It's a good crude protein. You shouldn't eat a lot of them, I guess. I enjoy eating them raw, but then the leaves as well are a natural mosquito repellent. So it's something I can take and crush, rub on my skin when I'm out in the garden if I'm getting bothered by the bugs, and go about my business. So it's going to look beautiful. It's going to fit into the landscape. It's going to be resourceful for both the wild animals, or potentially like my chickens, guinea fowls, Muscovy ducks, quail, whatever else I might have running around here. It's going to be a mosquito repellent for me, also a potential food source for me, and if things get really bad, then it is something I can have on my land to eat when I can't go to the grocery store. And then as well, it's a natural plant from this area. So upper story, okay, going to be some pawpaws, and then down below that, American Beautyberries and the American Gooseberries. So that's what we're working on. For the fertilizer, I like to dig deeper holes than the roots. I mean, that's all I really need to get this thing in the ground. I could really take my scythe, which is one of the gardening tools I really like, stab it in the dirt, shove this down in the dirt, keep it watered, and hope for the best. But I like to go a little bit better than that. So what I'm going to do is, down deep in the hole, beneath it, I'm going to put this rabbit manure. Normally, we just use rabbit manure straight because it's a cold manure. We happen to be feeding them a lot of greens right now. I have a reel mower. We just mow some yard every day, throw the food in there, cut down on the pellets we're giving them, allow them to have quite a bit of greens in their diet. It can be dangerous at first, but we've got a pretty good system where we haven't lost any. We just monitor them closely and slowly increase the rations. So there is some undesirable seeds potentially in here, but I'm putting these, more than a foot in the ground. I'm not really worried about those seeds germinating and being able to reach it all the way up to the sunlight. And then as well, the other thing that I like to drop in the hole is just fish, okay? Now, fish are good to eat. We like to go fishing, but they're also a good fertilizer. If I take the kids fishing and they hook one too deep and it's too small to really be a good meal, we can drop them in the hole underneath the plants. It'll be a source of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and stuff for that plant for a while too. So just want to get these off to the best start I can. Want to keep an eye on them, want to be monitoring them, want them to get established really well so that as time goes on, we've got just an awesome, amazing food source here, really in every reasonable, available area. So that's what we're working on. That's what I'm doing now. I'm going to get back to work, and hopefully, another year or two, I'll be able to show you guys this, and you'll be like, wow, that worked out really well. If it doesn't work out really well, maybe I won't show you it. All right, pop out. As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media,
an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.